I'm going to show you exactly how I trained in the last 12 months that helped grow my biceps. Now, the illusion of building bigger biceps consists of 3 muscle groups. So you need to be training the bicep brachii, which consists of 2 muscles. This is going to be the short head and also the long head of the biceps. And then you got the brachialis. So let's dig a little bit deeper to find the primary purpose of each muscle within the context of bodybuilding and a splash of anatomy. Now, the long head of the biceps is the outer part of your biceps, which is responsible for initiating the bicep peak. And in order for us to maximize activation for the long head, it's best to choose an exercise that includes a supinated hand position and a stretch on the biceps and anterior delt. This can be done by training the low cable bicep curl with a slight forward lean. Because our arms is behind our torso, this will immediately stretch the biceps. And since our hands are in a supinated position, meaning the palms are being exposed, this will be advantageous for our long head. Now, I usually do this exercise 2 times per week with just 2 straight working sets, meaning I keep the weight the same for the 2 sets and I aim to fall within the 8 to 12 rep ranges. Sometimes I also like to include a drop set or 2 if I underperform on those 2 working sets, just to kind of help get more volume if I wasn't training in the right intensity. Then it's going to be the short head of the biceps, which is responsible for giving that fullness and overall size of the biceps. Now, as long as you're finishing any curling bicep exercise movement with a supinated hand position and a slight internal rotation, this is going to be activating your short head, which can be done in a lot of variations. But for me personally, I prefer the weighted chin-ups. Now, I train this exercise 2 times per week, as well as with 2 different training intensities and rep ranges. The first session is focused more so on building strength with 2 to 3 working sets, while staying within the 3 to 5 rep ranges. And then the second session is focused more on building muscle with more volume, utilizing about 2 to 3 working sets while staying within the 8 to 10 rep ranges. So why would I choose the weighted chin-ups? Well, the answer is pretty simple. They both work the short and long heads of the biceps. But I will say, in order for you to maximize that long head of the bicep, you want to make sure that you're using a slightly less than shoulder width hand position, which is going to be putting you in a more favorable position to execute the exercise and pull more weight. But more importantly, just doing the weighted chin-ups itself has the most overloading potential, meaning I can load this exercise comparatively greater than any other bicep-based exercise. Now, you might have a pushback with the barbell curl or dumbbell curl, but again, this is my personal preference, so I'm not going to knock off those compound-based movements, but I will say this will have a greater strength carryover to those dumbbell or barbell movements. So you might as well do weighted chin-ups if you want to get strong in both sides of the spectrum. But hey man, that's just what I know. That being said though, the simplest way to grow any muscle is by increasing mechanical tension, which is the primary driver for muscle hypertrophy. So to dumb it down, the more tension there is on a particular muscle, the more muscle growth potential there is. Now, this is of course taking into account you're not ego lifting by reducing the range of motion or overall technique of an exercise and falling short of the dedicated rep ranges. Otherwise, no amount of mechanical tension is going to be efficiently improving your progress. Now, if you need help figuring out what exercises to use and how to incorporate this within your particular workout program, whether you're doing weighted calisthenics with weights or calisthenics and weights, then you should definitely book a call with me, because I am currently hosting a free 15-minute consultation call where I'll talk to like-minded people, where I answer any questions that you may have about creating custom workout programs and take on new potential clients for one-on-one coaching. Because I'm not gonna lie, even though the video you're watching right here and plenty of others that I posted have a lot of game, there's just no way it's gonna be applied to everyone. So if you want to chat, feel free to hit the link in the description or check the pinned comments. Now, the next thing we need to be doing is focusing on training the brachialis, which is the deeper muscle within the bicep brachii, aka the short and long head of the biceps. This is going to be giving the illusion of a wider, thicker, girthier arm. And honestly, from an aesthetic standpoint, this is what makes your arms just look big from the side, from the front, and who doesn't want a bigger arm, right? So make sure you train the brachialis. Essentially, if you are training the brachialis, this is going to be separating the distance between your long head of the biceps and the triceps because of the added muscle development from the brachialis. So the best way to activate this inner muscle is by starting and finishing your hand position with a more neutral grip. Now, I personally do dumbbell hammer curls with my arms supported on a bench. And if you take a closer look, you can clearly see the brachialis being worked because of this neutral hand position. So I like to do this between 1 to 2 times per week, keeping the intensities and rep ranges the same, similar to that of the low cable bicep curls for the long head of the biceps, within the 8 to 12 rep ranges. Now, I've had a lot of experimentation with this particular exercise without supporting my arm on the bench. And for the time being, I prefer an extra point of contact for stability to basically further isolate my brachialis to primarily do the lifting. Now, I may down the road, in terms of my weighted calisthenics journey, start doing neutral grip weighted pull-ups, because it is technically the same hand position as the dumbbell bicep curls. But because I'm not really content with the weighted chin-up numbers and just overall progress that I'm doing, so I'm going to be training the weighted chin-ups just a little bit longer before I start incorporating the neutral grip weighted pull-up. But in terms of like hand positioning, it targeting the brachialis and also getting the same mechanical tension and just overall potential to load the particular movement, it's very similar to that of the weighted chin-ups, and it's also hitting the criteria of that neutral hand position to hit the brachialis. So if anybody out here doing the weighted pull-ups with a neutral grip position, then you might not need to even do the dumbbell hammer curls. But hey, what do I know? If you like some more content like this, be sure to follow me, man. I'm the Tough Fitness Scout, shit, no cap.
Cobra trains, he's up next. Make sure y'all subscribe to him. He's #1 out here.
He's the toughest fitness guy out here.